One of our students' name was coined by Swami Ji, which probably he himself will tell you all, and I found that name to be very different and very nice. In fact, when that child came for admission, his parents brought him for admission, and I said, it's a very different and a very unusual name, I really like this name. Then that's the time he said, well, Swami Ji has coined his name, and I was really, really impressed, and since then I've been wanting to meet Swami Ji, and today I feel really, really honored to have met Swami Ji, and I'm sure it's going to be a very enlightening and a happy session for all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I invite Swami Ji to kindly? Please.
Very good morning to all of you. I am very grateful to your principal, Ms. Malhotra, for giving this rather generous introduction to me. I am delighted to be in your campus, my dear young friends. What are we doing here this morning? That should be made clear at the very outset. We learn various subjects, science and English, social studies and Hindi, maybe a foreign language too, mathematics. All these are so much necessary, but briefly speaking, here we are trying to apply our mind to something which is about, in the simplest language possible, we are trying to apply our mind to that art or to that science which makes us better human beings. It was rightly said that I had an engineering background and I had equipped myself with a lot of knowledge. One day I asked myself, with all this knowledge, what I am going to do? And I was very clear. Now I have the knowledge to make wonderful machines. My discipline was electronics engineering, so electronic equipment, communication equipment, computers, and there is no end to that list. Then I asked myself, I make very good machines, but who will make me? And what is that knowledge which would make me a balanced person, a caring person? By caring we mean self-care also is needed, caring for others also is needed. You might have heard of one popular abbreviation that goes around. There is an analysis of oneself, or for that matter a company sometimes, called SWOT analysis, S-W-O-T. And what is this SWOT? S for strength, W for weakness, and O for opportunities, and T for threats. So whether you are talking of an institution, organization, or just yourself, you may do, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities before me? And what are the threats? SWOT. Somebody made an interesting acronym. Now, when we try to understand our own strengths and weaknesses, one of the areas is, how good am I in leading a group? Life, whether we like it or not, puts us in places where we need to lead small or big groups. That is how this morning, dear friends, we are going to consider certain aspects of competent leadership. I'll take a minute now to express, in fact, my own gratitude, and I have a team with me. We want to make a quick obeisance to an uncle who is no more with us, Dr. Siddharth Gautam. It was he who a few years ago came to our life in a big way and encouraged her to do a lot of these programs at schools, colleges, and companies and so on about Indian wisdom, the great heritage of our country which can transform human beings. He taught entrepreneurship abroad in USA, and he was very keen that especially the heritage of our country be taken to different corners of the world. Inspired by him, we created a wing of our activities that's called Dhimahi. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this word. In the Gayatri Mantra you have, right? Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. But then we took that word Dhimahi and we connected a new meaning. As you may see, Dhimahi means deriving holistic insights into management from the heritage of India. This is a meaning we have attached. In the tradition, Dhimahi means let us meditate. But here it is applying the heritage of India to management of companies, of ourselves and so on. I want to quickly let you know that Mrs. Gautam is with us and we are so happy she could join us today. This morning, can you one moment? Indiraji has come just 2 days back from USA and today she is with us. Who is a leader? About whom are we talking? As this slide goes, everyone is a leader. You are already a leader. Like let's say in one of your homes, suppose you have 1 or 2 younger brothers or sisters. Those younger ones look up to you. Or you may say, no, I am the only child. I am not the leader. My father, mother are the leaders at my home. But at this school, even as you are now stepping into the 12th standard, a whole lot of girls and boys in the school look up to you. This bhaiya, this, he is in 12th. And whether you are conscious or not, you are a leader. So all of you are leaders. And all this, as I am saying here, a class, a family, a company, a country, a cricket team, all have leaders, they need leaders. Therefore, the society needs leaders in various capacities. I'm sure you will recognize many of them. Already I can see faces smiling. So, we have in cricket, we have in business, Mukesh Ambani, we have in politics, leading a country, and how many of you can recognize the white lady at the bottom? Theresa May is the Lady Prime Minister of UK, United Kingdom. And last but not the least, all of you know this face, who is much in news now, Donald Trump. And he is leading the most powerful country on the earth. Now, thank you very much. I also met some great leaders. Now there is a comic picture also there with a smile. You may wonder why. Let me first tell you who these leaders whom I met almost. I put an adverb here, I almost met them. Nelson Mandela is next to me. On far right there is Dalai Lama. In the middle there is the Pope. Now half of it is a joke also, because I know some of you have guessed already. The left one and the right one are wax statues. I got a chance last year to briefly visit Japan. This is not the London's Tussauds, this is the Tussauds in Tokyo. But just to make you, to assure you, I did meet the middle one, actually I met. I went for a small conference, short 3 days conference to Rome 2 years ago. I did meet, Pope Francis briefly, just for a minute. But the conference was 3 days, that's different. So we have leaders everywhere in all fields, and you never know. I would go to the extent of saying that one of you in your school days now may be very quiet, very withdrawn, hardly making any news, and that girl or that boy may be a given a lot of responsibility as time passes. And sometimes those who are very active during school or college days may become a little withdrawn. We never know. Life is unpredictable. So here, question is, how do we realize our hidden potential? Obviously, like a cat that sees in the mirror a lion, a tiger or some more powerful one, all of us aspire to become, more worthy. How do we do it? Sometimes we feel, I can, but there are times when we feel, I don't know where life is taking me, right? Let's examine one. Basically, as I began this morning, we have to have knowledge of a lot of outer subjects, finance or technology, as I said, geography or social science, 100 things. Depending on what job, what field of work we take up, we need to know those things. But equally, we need to, as the right side shows, we need to have understanding of relationships. In human life, especially as peace of mind is concerned, as far as peace of mind, as far as a sense of well-being is concerned, nothing like understanding relationships. I am sure right at your school days, these days, when a friend is sore with you, when somebody was a friend for quite a long time, but then for 2 days doesn't want to talk to you, turns the face away, you may be doing well in studies, you may be doing well in extracurricular activities, but the fact that a good friend is not talking to you for 2 days bothers you day and night. You may not have good sleep at night. The same thing applies later on when you take leadership positions. Understanding and handling relationships, emotional intelligence, which simply put is understanding others as well as your emotions, managing others' emotions, your emotions, very important, and being a good human being. So in a manner of saying, the left side and right side are like the two wings of a bird. If one of the wings is weak, the bird cannot fly. Therefore, in the light of it, now we take some points about leadership. In leadership, being able to lead well a team, one can go about it in 2 ways. Either give a list of, you got to have this, you got to have this, you must develop this, you must nurture this, you must strengthen this aspect in yourself. Another language in all such literature is to give a list of, you better avoid this, you better avoid this, you better give this up. Now here is a list I am presenting before you, and as we say, we want to draw a little from our own Indian heritage. That is part of our objective. What I am sharing with you is 3 shlokas, and they are from a very ancient work, Valmiki Ramayana. And the 3 shlokas, they are in Sanskrit, but nobody needs to fear. Much of it is in Hindi and Punjabi and Kannada and Telugu, every language. Let me quickly read these shlokas, then don't be afraid. I am not going to speak in Sanskrit on it. I will talk on it in English only. Nastikyam anritam krodam. These are the 14 pitfalls. Ram advises his younger brother Bharat. Yes, you know, Bharat had to rule the kingdom for 14 years. When you are ruling Ayodhya, take care to avoid these 14 errors. Nastikyam andratam krodham pramadam dirghasutratam adarshanam jnanavatam alasyam panchavrittitam ekachintanam arthanam anarthajnaischa mantranam nischitanam anarambham mantrasya aparirakshanam mangaladi aprayogancha pratyuthanancha sarvataha kachitvam varjayasi etan rajadoshan chaturdasha. At one place I went and I said, these are the 14 rajadosha. The word raja stands for leaders. Dosha, you know, dosh. Dosh means errors or shortcomings or undesirable qualities. But at that place, by a little slip of tongue, I pronounced Raja Dosa. And somebody said, I have heard of masala dosa, I have heard of this. What is Raja dosa? What kabhi nahi kaya? I said, sorry, it was a tongue of my slip. Oh, sorry, slip of my tongue. Okay. This is another joke. A teacher was teaching a class and two boys entered a bit late. The teacher was a disciplinarian. He got very angry. He wanted to say, both of you get out. He wanted to say. Meanwhile, a third student also came late. And he said, both of you three get out. The whole class laughed. Or they were suppressing their laughter. Both of you three, what English is this? The teacher felt a bit embarrassed. He turned to the students and said, sorry, it was a bit of a tongue of slip. So, it is Raja Dosha. Sri Ram asked his younger brother Bharat to give up 14 errors. Let's see what are those errors, which I mentioned in Sanskrit first. Yeah. One of them, all of us are very familiar with, alasya, alasta, laziness. Who doesn't have laziness? You think this speaker, Swami Chidananda, has no laziness? I may be more lazy than some of you. Really, some of you may be more hardworking, may get up more easily in the morning. Every day my Mahabharata starts in the morning. Mahabharata means the war, the battle with oneself. Friends, all of us have some laziness in us. And some amount is alright, but we should not be in its grip. At times of demand, if we can say, this is not a time to be lazy. Something needs to be done. Get going. You can rest later. You can enjoy later. So a bit of a control over our tendency to take things easy is what is talked about. Then you have slavery to sense pleasures. In the shlokas I recited, there is a word pancha vrattita. Pancha means five, panch. And we have five sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. And each of them can be very demanding. We want to eat delicious food, we want to hear pleasant music, and not only music, one thing we want to always hear is praise. If somebody comes and says, you are marvelous, we feel so good. The ears want to hear our praise. Same way with the nose, with the skin, right? So, that is again natural. Nobody says, no book of wisdom says, please eat tasteless food. No. Enjoy tasty food. Have a taste for good music, but everything has a place. As the saying goes, a place for everything, but everything in its place. Like that, if we could keep our longing for sense pleasures, enjoyments of various kinds, in its right place. As another saying goes, duty before pleasure. If we first go for pleasure, and then a little more pleasure, and then a little more, then the duty remains untouched many a time. So, Sri Ram, common sense really, asked Bharat, as a king, as a leader, do not fall a prey to temptations on the level of senses. And the same way, carelessness. A leader cannot afford to be careless, just going about things in a casual way. A leader has to be alert. In fact, all of us are learning. I am not here today to tell you this is what leadership is. I have done it all. I myself am on the learning curve. All life, they say, is learning. Okay, there is nobody who can say, who can claim that I am done. We are all learning. I am learning that many a time we have enough of supporters, enough of team members, enough of people who, if with a certain alertness, we tell them well in time, they will do everything. They are available, they wish to do. Sometimes there are people who are eager to do something for you when you are in a leader's position. All you need is a bit of alertness, at right time, in the right way, to tell them. Let's see further. Many a time, one of the major mental blocks, one of the things that holds somebody back from playing his role or playing her role, a leader, even in the examples I gave earlier, you have Theresa May, United Kingdom, one of the most powerful countries for many centuries, is headed today by a lady, Theresa May. So, a lady or a gentleman playing the role of a leader is likely to become inefficient. He is likely to become ineffective. You know how? These are 2 points which are given in the shlokas. One is not consulting right people. Adarshanam Jnanavatam. Jnanvan are those people who have subject knowledge in some matter where probably huge financial involvement is there, or maybe lot of security, lot of risk. Take for example, all of you surely know, in November last year, Narendra Modi announced demonetization. Suddenly the 500 rupees, 1000 rupee notes which all of us had were no more useful. There was of course some time given to exchange. Now, get into the shoes of Mr. Modi. In the decision making, suppose he just sat with the door closed. Okay, what shall I do now? Let me demonetize. First of all, it's not such an easy thing. Not only he has to not only consult, but as the bullet says, not consulting right people could be wrong, which means you got to consult right people. And then consulting wrong people could be another big error. You may ask, but sir, why would anybody consult wrong people? All of us sometimes consult wrong people. You know how? There are always some people who come and praise us. There are always some people who come and give us gifts, then we feel good about them. We feel comfortable about them. I am comfortable with her. Though she doesn't know the subject, I will take her advice. What? And though that guy knows the subject, he always finds fault with me. When I say 2 plus 3 is 7, he doesn't agree with me. And I say, at least once agree with me. For once, let 2 plus 3 be 7. He says, no, 2 plus 3 can never be 7. So I won't want to consult him, because he shows my errors. Whereas this lady here says, is 2 plus 3 7? As you say, sir. If you want, make it 2 plus 3 10 also. What you say is right. They are called sycophants. Sycophancy. They are called people, who praise you. If you tell them how dark it is outside today, they will say, yeah, how dark it is. If that kind of sycophants are your advisors, your leadership will go for a toss. Therefore, Sri Ram rightly says, consult the right people, don't consult wrong people. Then there are many inner impediments. Inner impediments could be, you have consulted people, you have held meetings, you have gone into many deliberations. What is to be done? What should be avoided? How we shall do it? And what is more, sometimes necessary funds. While wanting to do something, you need the funds, necessary manpower, everything is ready. Having made the decision, suppose the leader, poor leader so to say, does not act on it. People ask him or ask her, either way, what happened? You announced that day. The meeting unanimously decided this is to be done. And you with chest up said, yes, we are going to do it. What happened? And suppose you say, we shall do it. But you see, let the summer be over. And later on you say, it has started raining, let rain stop. That kind of, it is called dilly-dallying. And in psychology, we call it certain inhibition, certain inner impediment. Sometimes in psychology, they even call it a certain complex. All of us have it. Nobody is free from it. Some have more, some have less. But let me tell you, if we are aware of what is my psychological inhibition, that being aware is half the battle won. Then we can actually get going. We can actually start working on it. Therefore, there are all these impediments. Nastikyam, Anritam. Anritam I didn't touch here in the slide, is telling lies. Satya is truth, Anrita is falsehood. Krodha. Sri Ram says one should not have, permit me to add an adjective, destructive anger. Please don't standardize human behavior to that extent that nobody should get angry. Life is not like that. Some anger, some personalities have some anger, which is nothing wrong. Some of you may have by nature a little anger. I want to assure you that a little anger by itself is not wrong. But see that anger is used at the right time, in right measure, for the right reason. Some of you, I am one of them, the second camp. By nature we are not angry. I'm sure many are here like me. Even if I am put to some great injustice, I don't get angry, I don't yell out. But inside I suffer. It's not that I am some kind of divine person. Inside I am saying, But it's not my nature to scream and yell and dismiss somebody or say to somebody, get off my way, etc. I would rather say, really, is that what you want to say? Okay. Or I am quite smart, that's how I have become, some kind of a counselor. I won't even show my emotions. I will say, I appreciate that, what you have said. Inside I am thinking, what is to be done now? Now, that is also not wrong. Suppose, nature, call it God, whatever. Nature has made us differently. We have to work within our nature. Having reached this, let me tell you, sir, if you ask me, if we are like you, we don't know the art of showing anger, how do we manage things? The tip is, have always somebody who knows how to get angry. Have somebody with you. Suppose you are the leader, have a deputy leader. That person should be always browbeating. So anybody who comes near you finds that this person doesn't get angry, looks at your deputy. So make a combination. Once a young woman asked me, what kind of husband should I have? I said, are you an angry person or are you a calm person? She said, I am an angry person. Then have a calm husband. The combination will work well. Another way too, if you are a calm person, have an angry husband. But on one condition, he should not get angry with you. With people outside. My young friends, it has been such joy for me to share these thoughts with you, and I am not here to give a professorial long talk. Practically, I have almost come to the end of it. This is the last slide here. With the little advice, all of us are so fast today, with so many pressures, so many demands on us. We are on the run, but that should never lead to running or climbing so fast, so thoughtlessly, that as the words below go, you should not find after reaching the top that, the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. I am actually taking this expression from a famous Western guru, management teacher, Stephen Covey, who is no more now. He, in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, advises us, be thoughtful, think out the whole thing, see larger picture, do not act hurriedly. If just because of peer pressure, all are doing this, let me also do it. All are buying this, let me also buy it, etc. You and I always have this tendency to blindly follow others. Then we would be climbing this ladder pretty fast, but then we find this is not where I wanted to come. So my whole presentation, my sharing was about going a bit slow, understanding the whole of life as much as possible. No one can understand fully the whole of life, it is such a mystery. Understand the whole of life, larger picture, and then removing the 14 or there may be many more errors, shortcomings within us, nurturing and strengthening the good points within us. On the whole, if we can emerge as good human beings and our own happiness and the happiness of others are taken care of to the maximum extent. No one is a god on earth. We do hurt some people, knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. But if we can minimize hurting others, and no one is a god on earth again, we, all of us, lose out in our own situations. We lose many opportunities. But if we can reduce that letting go of opportunities by this inner development, if we can be a bit more alert and make the best of life, and once more be happy and make others as happy as possible, that life would be truly very, very fulfilling. I thank you this morning for giving me such a patient hearing, and I, from the bottom of my heart, wish every one of you here, including the teachers present, the very best in your life. Thank you. If there is time, I will be happy to ask hear some questions and answer you to the best of my ability. Let me ask you this way. Do you know one or two Indians, people of Indian origin, who are heading multinational companies abroad? Huh? Sundar Pichai, they are coming out now. Yes. One more? Satya Nadella. I too don't know too many names, but there are dozens or scores of them in every part of the world. Yes, they are business. Lakshmi Mittal. I know, Indra Nui. I am an admirer of Indra Nui, in fact, more than Satya Nadella or Sundar Pichai. This lady, Indra Nui, really inspires me. I have seen a couple of her videos on YouTube. So if you...
May I ask you, Swami, since it's a question answer, what is the reason you admire her more vis-a-vis the other leaders?
Yeah, in the YouTube videos that I saw, she shares noble values. In one of the short videos, I found Indra Nui saying, there's a video on YouTube where she receives a special medal or some recognition from Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, our president, for being a very distinguished non-resident Indian. So Indra Nui over there says, one of the things as you rise in your career is empower others. Make others great. I said, this is very noble. This is straight away so spiritual. Normally we focus on how we become greater and greater. She says, make others great. If you see talent, and give them opportunity. And also in another interview, Indra Nui tells her daily schedule. And amazing, she handles so many tasks and she sleeps just 4 or 5 hours in that night. 11:30, 12 and 4:30 she is up again. She is a family lady with children, with husband, but she leading PepsiCo, the big company. She is so cheerful also, handling all that. So her abilities inspire me and make me believe how much potential we have. We have to just tap it. Normally, talking about being cheerful in spite of work, there is a saying, in this world there are people who get tired by work, but a lot of people get tired by thought of work.
And that gives them stress.
And Indra Nui neither gets tired by work nor by thought of work. Of course, the basic biological tiredness is there, but her mind is always free apparently. Physical tiredness is okay.
Pursuit of happiness, which is very, very important.
True, true. All these are connected. Ultimately, to be a good leader is to be happy, to make maximum people happy. So by now maybe some question is, here is.
So being an IIT, we all know how tough that is. So what made you choose this line of field after being an IIT? You could have gone anywhere.
Right. So though I was in the IIT and was really aspiring to have a career there, therefore I did work. Here only in Noida, I worked 2 years in HCL, Hindustan Computers. I stayed in Mayur Vihar in young days, would go to the factory. I was in those days computer hardware. And I did teach also in an engineering college for 3 years. I thoroughly loved it, teaching this electronics to young girls and boys. But it was to credit of Swami Chinmayananda. He talked about the art of living. He talked about inner engineering, so to say, Outer engineering is about making good machines. Inner engineering is about making good human beings. So that exposition or that presentation by him, Swami Chinmayananda, inspired me a lot, and I felt that this is my heart's calling. Now you people also, you may do law, you may do engineering, you may do commerce, you may, whatever you may do. Don't be surprised if down the road something out of the way inspires you. Maybe music, maybe rural service, whatever it is. In fact, answering this question, Steve Jobs, who is Steve Jobs? Who ate a big apple, who ate the most famous apple. So Apple computer Steve Jobs, when he spoke to students in Stanford University, he said, go by your calling. Don't go by the pressure of society. Find out what your heart wants. Of course, you have to be careful about it. Watch yourself for a length of time. And then he used a very famous expression. If in the process of going by your calling, you don't earn enough, you stay hungry. He said, stay hungry, but follow your calling. Then he added one more sentence. If in the process of following your own calling, your own heart's desire, suppose the whole society calls you foolish, Steve Jobs said, stay foolish. So his famous expression a year or two before he died, stay hungry, stay foolish. You have to take it in right context. If need be, stay hungry, but follow your heart's calling. If need be, let people call you foolish, but follow your heart's calling. So that's the heart's calling, and after 35 years I have no regrets on it. I'm happy I took this direction. Any last question or comment?
We have a lot of pressure over us and we have a lot of tasks and responsibilities. So how do we stay focused and not go haywire every day?
The golden principle is this. Make a list of things to do. Identify what is more important, what is less important. And don't whip yourself, but gently persuade yourself. Tell yourself, oh dear, not to anybody else, to yourself. Oh dear, for heaven's sake, do what is important first. For heaven's sake, don't do the small things. I have a friend who does half an hour of yoga in the morning, some Surya Namaskar, etc. I said, how many Surya Namaskars do you do? He said, 4 or 5. What? Half an hour and only 4 or 5? Because he does one Surya Namaskar, sun salutation, then rearranges the books in his sheet. Then another Surya Namaskar, checks WhatsApp messages. This is called a mind in total mind out of control. One has to say, this is now my time for yoga. In 30 minutes, I am going to do yoga and yoga. Having selected, it may be yoga, it may be any exercise. That way, suppose you sit one afternoon, one evening, okay, 1 hour I am going to study social studies, which I don't like, your mind says. But tell yourself, oh dear, whether you like or not, just for 1 hour, be with social studies. So select what is important, then be with it for at least half an hour without any, then you will find your heart will be filled with a certain satisfaction. Ah, today it's going on well. Then build further on it. Don't take a 3-hour break to celebrate. There is a question here.
As you shared that in the process to be a good leader, there are times where you have obstacles and shortcomings, right? And so there are many times that that process and those shortcomings come along and get along a lot of negative thoughts. So what do you suggest? How do we overcome those and eliminate those negative thoughts?
Yes. When negative thoughts arise, when the obstacles on our path make things difficult, we get angry or we feel low about ourselves, I am no good, etc. So whether it is displeasure with somebody or dissatisfaction with oneself, the golden rule is, let me give you an example. If you have a handful of salt and put it in a glass of water, stir and try to drink, it's very distasteful. If the same handful of salt is put in a big vessel, 100 liters of water, it dissolves away and the water doesn't get distasteful. Like that, put your negative thought against a larger picture. What is a larger picture? Like, I am likely to perform very badly tomorrow in some test or exam. Just see, will it be so for most of the students? Then you find, this subject has been hard and all are suffering. Moment you realize that I am not alone, there are many who are facing these difficulties, and who knows, the teacher may consider and she may give some more time, or she may say, okay, students. So you see that many more are also having this problem. Or another example of larger picture is, you may find that, this social studies is not my cup of tea, and so on. I have nothing against social studies, second time I do. So you may ask me, did you leave everything because you didn't like social studies? Just as an example. Now, as you feel so diffident, lacking in confidence and feeling low about you are not getting a grip on social studies, just see the larger picture. How am I in English? Oh, English I love. How am I in mathematics? Well, my role model is Srinivas Ramanujan, the man who knew infinity. There is a movie which came recently. And you see that in sports, in 19 out of 20 things, you are really happy, comfortable. This is one social study is possible. The moment you realize that I am good in so many things and here I am weak, you have put that obstacle or that problem of social studies in a larger picture. At least you feel a little better. Okay, I am really not all that bad. Now let us see again what this king did then, that queen said. All the history and geography and so on. So put it, dissolve it in a larger perspective.
The problem with prioritizing things is everything is important as of today.
Exactly.
All 3 subjects for us are important, including the optional one, and to be perfect we need to master all of them equally. Also some of us are preparing for entrances and other things. So how do we manage time better?
My guru, Swami Ji made an expression. First of all, he said, do the best, leave the rest. Do the best, leave the rest. In this sense, you have certain fixed number of hours. Nobody on earth can do everything in those number of hours. So everybody has this problem. So one has to focus on doing the best. So you distribute, the priorities. I fully agree with you. Almost everything looks very, very important. But if you go about it a bit cautiously, carefully, there will be some which even you can drop. Some which you can probably take somebody's help. There will be some items which can be made easier by a bit of thoughtfulness. Everywhere we ourselves need not struggle. Sometimes, for example, what I mean by saying certain things can be made easier, sometimes on a certain subject, there is a better material available, but you may have a psychological inhibition. Oh, who will ask that friend, or who will now order, who will now get it? I will read this only, I will study this only. No. If you really think that there is some material, some other text, some other book, which puts it in a more easy to understand manner, go get it. Therefore, this requires a balanced management. Finally, it boils down to do the best and leave the rest. As I said repeatedly, nobody is God on earth. All of us have limitations. We must do what is best possible at our hands. Comparing with somebody, but he has studied 4 chapters in a single day. I have not completed even 1 chapter in 3 days. That doesn't take us anywhere. Whenever such thoughts come, that somebody else is performing, going faster, you just say, that's very good, God bless her or God bless him. Thing is, what is the best I can do? I probably can do not 3 chapters, 4 chapters in a single day. That's, I don't know how she has that ability, but I probably can, avoid some waste of time and cover 1 chapter, review of 1 chapter in a day. Let me do that. So this way it requires basically a lot of gentle self-persuasion and self-assuring. I am okay, I am fine, I will do the best possible. And lastly, if there is something where, let us say, parents or the society is pressuring you and you really don't feel at home, this is another difficulty in life, all through life. You need to begin a dialogue, they call it. You need to say to those people, to parents, to teachers, to society, look, I appreciate you are wanting me to become somebody big and great, but I wouldn't say social studies this time. This science is something, with due respect, I am not comfortable with science. I don't know why Newton and Einstein found out all those things. So you openly say, open dialogue in a polite manner. Then your parents, the society, they will understand. They will say, yeah, we don't want to put too much pressure on you, beta. What can you do then? What do you love? So we wanted you to pursue science, but what is it you love? They will give at least some margin. They may not immediately take away all the load. So broadly, you have to first do the best possible. Second, if something is simply impossible, start a dialogue with the people involved, and you could sometimes drop it. In fact, some of the best leaders and great people in the world are high school, college dropouts. One example I can tell you right away is there is a computer company called Dell Computers, Michael Dell. He, instead of studying all the subjects, was tinkering with some electronics and was building some computers in the good old days. He failed repeatedly in his academics. He just left the college and started one small computer repair shop. Eventually he became, very famous Dell Computers owner. So do the best, leave the rest. Give yourself some self-advice. Did somebody else? Yeah.
Is that we would take upon ourselves in everyday life.
How to remove the stress that builds on us? It should be a 2-pronged approach. I guess some of you might be not giving yourself certain, short windows of time where maybe you work out a little, where maybe you listen to some music, where maybe you go for a short walk around your house, where there are things which you love, which cheer you up for a short, mind my word, for a short break. Don't take too long a break, things will go from bad to worse. But take a short break. Maybe it could be just putting your palm on your eyes and for 5 minutes, the ice become fresher then. Identify 4 or 5 things which you may do by which you get refreshed, relaxed. That's number 1. And number 2, about the work that you need to do which causes stress or comments of people. Manage it by always taking support of some healthier outlook. Somebody goes on making a nasty comment on you. You are not doing well. You need to speed up. This way you are not going to reach anywhere. Somebody may be there, some parent or uncle or some neighbor or some classmate. You need to, what is a healthy outlook there? He says what he sees. I don't have to take it to my heart. There was a beautiful message once. A boat is going on a huge river, Nile or Brahmaputra or Amazon, it's going. Lots of water all around, right? When boat goes on a large river, then the message was, let there be any amount of water around the boat, as long as the water doesn't enter the boat is safe. Likewise, let people say anything. Let people make comments. As long as you don't take it to your heart, you put it in its proper place with due respect. Your own mother may say something. Mama, thank you, you are so concerned about me, I will work on myself. Don't allow that to agitate you. So let the water in the wide, long river not enter the boat. Let these influences, comments, judgments, criticism, etc. not get into your heart. At any moment we need to renew ourselves. And suppose 3 or 4 major errors took place at our hands, of course we have regrets, but take a deep breath and decide to be careful the next time. Life is all an experiment. No wonder the father of the nation called his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth. A friend of mine was going to write his autobiography. He further, not even Experiments with Truth, my friend wanted to write My Autobiography or My Accidents with Truth. Another question.
How do we deal with failures? Because in today's world where everyone is doing so well, it really sets us back. So how do we get back on track and go about it?
It does cause a lot of agitations. So you should give yourself a short break and you should know that all said and done, what happens is one thing, what my mind makes of it is another. I cannot work on what happens outside, but I can work on what my mind makes of it. At this moment, my mind is depressed, my mind is low, my mind is angry. So let me allow my mind to calm down. Therefore, you should understand that this mind also plays many mischiefs. If you know that the mind plays mischiefs, half your worry will be gone. It's like if you have a brother who is very mischievous, who one day on your birthday also brings a big box. This is gift to you, and you know how mischievous he is. Then you don't expect much. It could be an empty box also. And slowly you say, thank you so much, and you open. Thank God, it's not empty this time, there is something. Then you enjoy it. Same way, if you know that this mind can play mischief, then you will take it in your stride. Yeah.
We students, we sacrifice on our sleep to study a bit more at night, or wake up early in the morning and stuff. So sir, because of that, then the whole week goes waste. We're not able to focus on what happens. So sir, how do we avoid that?
Having learned that several times this happened, that I overworked 1 or 2 nights, then for a whole week I was feeling dull or So you should train yourself not to do that. And one principle in this is, learn to say no. Even I do that. We work sometimes up to night 2 or 3 and next day we are in blues, Because during the day, somebody called us for some party. Somebody called us, let's watch this video. Come here, this website is amazing. So we could have said no. Though we know there's important work to finish. We say, oh really? As though that is not enough, we not only watch the website which she is showing, we say, hey, let's see this also. So we need to train ourselves, in time management they call it, have a schedule and stick to the schedule. If you let schedule go to winds, because a friend called you or some suggestion was there, and suddenly you realize the final match of something is there this evening at 9 o'clock. What about my schedule? Don't even think about it, Then it's going to be a problem. You have to tell yourself. Maybe I'll ask my brother or sister to record it. These days technology, makes possible. Record it. I'll watch that football match later. I'll stick to my schedule. Tonight 9 to 10 I am supposed to work on socials. I'm back to social studies.
That seems to be your favorite subject.
Learn to say no. That's how you will avoid staying late at night. Yeah.
Like you spoke about how successful people deal with engaging in deep kind of relationships with people. So my question is, many a times we come across situations wherein we meet many different kind of people in our life who we may think that they are the right kind of people for us, but necessarily they don't turn out to be right. Like in the long run, we figure out that they're not right for us. So my question is, how do we deal with such kind of people in the present time?
That this person has a chink in his personality. This person has a problem. Don't dump him or her immediately, have some sympathy, but keep some distance. Don't commit too much. Sometimes these people, I'm sure you meant it, sometimes they cannot be disposed of. They may be your own brother, sister, cousin, your own long-time friend, and there is a lot of emotional investment in both directions. So you don't have to, but you need to learn to be strict. Earlier when you trusted him so much, you were saying yes to everything he proposed. Now you say, oh really, thank you for inviting me, but I won't be able to join there. Be strict and use polite language. Using polite language, there is a saying in Old English, a polite answer turneth away wrath. Wrath or wrath, anger. If you say politely, then the other person won't be so upset. So moment you find I was keeping this relationship, it's not really good, the person doesn't deserve all that involvement. Be strict, withdraw, neither dump him. Of course in extreme cases you have to dump, but generally, poor things, they also have their life. Keep a respectful distance, and in some real times of need you may help him or her. But otherwise he lives his life, he has to learn his lessons, and you say, I have to live my life carefully. So be strict. In 2 words it is be strict, but be polite too. Yes. Yeah.
Come easiness. Another major problem.
Wonderful. Thank you for asking such a down-to-earth question. Laziness is a common problem, difficult issue. How do we overcome it? In fact, a 18-year-old girl asked my teacher, Swami Ji, I just cannot get out of my bed in the morning. It's so difficult to get up. How do we do? He said a tip I can share with you. Ji said to that girl in Chennai, when you find that, oh no, I can't get up, do one thing. Persuade your mind to get up for just 1 minute. Just a minute, 60 seconds. Get out of your bed, for 60 seconds pace your bedroom. Go up and down. Then also if the mind says, oh no, let's sleep. And that girl actually tried, the results were amazing. 3 out of 4 times the mind did not say. You get up and walk a little up and down, maybe cursing anybody who gave that advice. But moment you pace, this laziness is a passing mood actually. Nobody is lazy 24 hours. Can you see this? Nobody can stay on bed all the time. You will hate the bed. If somebody says 24 hours stay on the bed, everything will be supplied to you where you are. Don't move. You will hate that privilege, so-called privilege to be on the bed. You would rather be up for 24 hours. Therefore, in all of us, there are two forces. One is to be lazy, another is to get going. So the second force, to get going, has to be given a small chance. So next time any of us feels lazy, ask oneself first, is this a true need of my body? Does my body need rest? If it is true need, give it. But suppose, actually, laziness by definition is going for comfort when we don't need. That is laziness. So my mind says, really I have had enough rest, yet I want to feel sleep or just sit around. Then you say, okay, just for 5 minutes let me do this work. Just for 5 minutes, let me whatever some work. Then if I don't feel like, I'll get back to comfort. You will find typically in those 1 minute or 5 minutes, the whole, sometimes a cloudy sky, in 2 minutes everything clears. Like that, laziness will just go if you engage for just 2 to 3 minutes in some activity.
I think this happens with the most of us. If your interest is based in two different fields altogether, you're young, you want to experiment, but at the same time there's chance of failure. How do you know it is the right time to get into the right field? Because you're equally interested in both the fields and you're so, I wouldn't say confused, but interested rather. How do you cope up with that?
Once I was sitting in Mumbai, in my center, a father and son came. And the father said, my son is facing a major crisis. I got alarmed. I was more worried than them then. Then I said, what is the crisis? My son has got now admission offer in IIT Madras and in IIT Bombay. Which one to select is becoming he's not getting sleep. I said, is this also a problem? I just pulled my drawer and there was a coin. I said, this coin will solve your problem. Toss the coin. See, if it's heads, take the IIT Madras offer. If it is tails, take the IIT Bombay offer. So when you have two interests and both are decent, both seem very nice and very good, then of course deliberate a little. Is there some advantage with A over B? And then you say, no, both A and B are equally good and I love both these. But I cannot do both. You can't join both IIT Madras and IIT Bombay. Then toss a coin and take one. Leave it to God, leave it to the divine nature. Many times we come across this situation.
In the future, won't toss a coin, won't we feel regrets later? Obviously, we'll have that one regret that if I taken...
Suppose you had not thought at all, not thought about the merits and demerits. Initially itself you toss the coin. That is laziness. Like even a matter of some breakfast, somewhere you go and they say, we have North Indian, we have South Indian, which one would you? Auntie, kuch bhi de do. Then she gives you, the North Indian food. Then later on you find others are eating some masala dosa. I think I should have asked for masala dosa. You had not really thought over. When she asked you what you want, she said, kuch bhi de do. But whereas if you had thought over, do I want idli or dosa? Do I want chole bhatura or puri? I think really speaking, I love both of them. And to ask for both of them will be rather uncivil. So then you say, auntie, give me any of them. Then you won't regret because you had weighed the options. So I am talking about weigh the options and really your conscience says both are equally good, then toss the coin. Not in a haste or hurry. Yes.
Since a very early time you have been preparing for something and you really want to get into that college or be it that field, and after a while you're just scared because the seats are limited and you're scared that you're letting down other people and yourself after building up so much expectation. And so how to deal with that?
Logic that can help you is life is much more than any particular event. So put your best foot forward, put in your effort, and suppose it does, as you rightly said, very nicely said, seats are limited and so many other things are there, reservation or this or that. Finally you don't get, of course it's very painful, but do not forget that life is much more. You know, this J.R.D. Tata, who was given Bharat Ratna, he wanted to do PhD in France. And he was from such a rich family, all set, PhD or higher studies. But then something happened that he had to rush back to India, take responsible position in the big famous house of Tatas, and it pained him a lot. So many are doing. So many people of middle class, with less resources are studying abroad, going for higher studies, and I, belonging to such a rich family, have to come back and get caught here. He regretted. But the beautiful second part of the story is, this man J.R.D. Tata later on established various institutions like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, in Mumbai, where large number of PhDs, postdoctoral research fellows are working. He in fact provided an umbrella. He could not do PhD, but he actually employed or facilitated, encouraged, and his achievements are, a very great thing. So therefore, when something finally doesn't go the way you wanted, you have to remind yourself only one thing. Life is much more than this. Though this is so dear to my heart, but there are so many more things. And time heals. Is there, could we say one more question? Or
Yeah, please.
So could you please share with us your mantra to happiness or success, and basically a thought that has influenced your life?
Because I have studied a lot of philosophy and a lot of things have inspired me. But the second part, I thank you for that. What has actually helped you? Not what has inspired you while reading or giving a talk. So what has really helped me is a very, very open or very down-to-earth recognition of where I belong, what my skills are. In Bhagavad Gita, the word used for that is Swadharma, Apna Dharma, Swadharma. However much of glitter and glamour may be there about something else, suppose your skills don't belong there, keep away. You won't have satisfaction inside, you won't have happiness there. Like in my case, I am not much of an administrator. Suppose somebody serves me, as they say, served on a silver platter or something. Be the director here, be the chairman there, run this, I will make a mess of it. Or I will do a reasonably good job, but deep inside I am not happy. Whereas teaching, speaking, explaining something, whether it's electronics engineering or this values of life, where I am myself very interested and I love to dwell on it, which may not be so with him, which may not be so with her. You have to find out. Therefore, the truth that has helped me tremendously is this truth of Swadharma. Find out where you belong, then just be there. If necessary, stay hungry, stay foolish. अपने स्वधर्म को पहचानो और उसको पकड़ो. That is the truth which has helped. Now, really last question.
Actually, back, some time back, I was all in for this field. I had to go over there, I had to pursue that, I had to become that man. But now I've already started my journey towards being that man, and there are many ways of going there. I've picked one, and I don't think I'm liking it that much. And I'm at a place where I can't go back, and I have to go forward. So, yeah.
So as you have recognized that you cannot go back, going back would hurt certain people. Going back would hurt your own pride. Because all of us have some pride, let us admit. You can't say, give up your pride. You can't. Going back now will hurt your own pride. Therefore, go ahead, let it be a small act of sacrifice on your part. And if divine will wants, Down the road, the divine will provide you a second opportunity to probably take the other one. Till then, as a little tyag, a little sacrifice, you say, this has been entrusted to me, this course of life, this job, this work, these studies. Now I cannot go back. Let me make it a bit of a sacrifice. So, thank God for what you have got and bear with what you didn't get. So, some tyag is needed in life of everyone. And that tyag gives you deeper peace. You lost a little, but out of your sacrifice, you will gain much more. Have the patience. Your questions have been so wonderful and well articulated, well expressed. So I thank you heartily for that.
Excellent questions and most beautifully answered, I would say. Please sit. Children, it was a very, very enlightening session and we need to really thank Swami Ji for it. We all in one voice say, thank you, Swami Ji. Thank you, Swami Ji. It was indeed a beautiful session, a very enlightening session, and a very, I would say meaningful answers that you gave from your experiences and, the kind of life that you've led, and you have experienced all this. There couldn't have been anything better than this. A beautiful morning indeed. And I have to thank someone, which I am not supposed to take his name here, for having got you here. And Nirvil Kalp is the name that was kept by Swami Ji. Nirvil Kalp, you must come and seek Swami Ji's blessings. I thought Swami Ji is going to disclose.
How wonderful, Nirvil Kalp, meeting you here at your own school. Huh? So nice to see. I haven't met him for a long time.
Okay.
Great. I hope you enjoyed the session. All the best. Wish you all the best.
Swami Ji, this is just a token of appreciation and love. I do understand it's a very bright color, but I think bright colors go well on white.
Thank you, and I'm truly honored.
Thank you, Swami Ji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your presence, your benign presence. Actually, your presence has really, there's something very, what shall I say, high on spirituality in our, due to your presence, probably it has made all the difference. I find this place really high on spirituality, and you've added on to the happiness and the positivity that the school has. And we are all feeling very enriched, and I would like to have more sessions. Probably I'll request for more sessions, because it's really brought in a degree of peace and happiness and tranquility. Thank you so much.